The Aging in Place lifestyle is designed for older adults who choose to live with greater autonomy, comfort, and control. Tonight, Gina and I will provide an overview of home modifications designed to create safe, accessible, and beautiful homes for independent living. Gina is the owner of Castle Keeper, LLC, and the chairman of the National Aging in Place Council for the Chicagoland chapter. So thank you for being here, both Gina and your partner here, Rick, and I'll let you go right ahead.
Hi, welcome everybody. My name is Gina Knight. I'm a certified aging in place specialist. And as Barry mentioned, I'm the founder and chairman of the National Aging in Place Council, the Chicagoland chapter. I have over 30 years of construction experience in residential and commercial real estate contracting, as well as design and project management. My colleague is joining us tonight. That's Rick Graffagna from Senior Solutions. Rick, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Rick Graffagna, and my company is Senior Solutions. I'm the owner and president of the organization, and we've been in operation for about 9 years now, helping in an advisory role for seniors in a lot of different avenues. And I love this industry, and I love helping seniors and meeting families, and look forward to sharing some more great information with you this evening. So the national, I'll tell you a little bit about the national, the NAIPC. Let me turn my page. So the mission statement for our group is, our mission is to educate and empower families and communities in the Chicagoland area to live safely, independently, and comfortably in the home of their choice for as long as they choose. We are a group of licensed professionals, business owners, and advocates who are committed to providing public outreach, educational meetings, and programs to inform and educate older adults, their families, and elder care professionals about senior-focused businesses and resources. Essentially, we are individual professions that touch the older adult somewhere along the way. We collaborate and work together and find that we can help a lot more older adults live more comfortable lives by getting multi-dimensional services from a number of different providers. We learned from experience and networking that we have a large network of resources to offer to the older adults and individuals who want to age in place. There are currently 14 chapters in the US, and many more are in the formation stages. There are already 30 members in the greater Chicagoland chapter. So happy birthday, Boomer. All of you that are out there. The statistics are pretty outrageous. Every day for the next 20 years, 10,000 baby boomers will reach the age of 65. We are aging rapidly. Currently, there are 56 million Americans over the age of 65. By the year 2050, that number will reach 84 million, an increase of over 50%. And we are living longer. If you take a look at this graph, the two lines intersect in around year 2035. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and what's important about that intersection. Currently, there are 7 million Americans over 85 years old. By the year 2050, that number will reach 19 million, more than double. So what's significant about the year 2035? Well, by 2035, for the first time in history, older adults are projected to outnumber children under the age of 18. That's a huge shift in our population triangle, from being bottom heavy to being top heavy. Next screen. So what does aging in place mean? So if you read along with me, if you can see the screen, aging in place is a term used to describe a person living in a home of their choice for as long as they are able to as they age. It encompasses the ability to access any services, assistive tools, or other support that might be needed in the person's chosen residence over time as needs change. So I'd like to turn things over to my partner, Gina, and she'll continue with the program.
Thank you, Rick. So what are the main components of aging in place? With aging in place, you need to have a master plan. Aging in place requires a review of each of these components. Housing, the changes of how you live safely. Health and medical, what is your status now, and what may your needs be after a serious illness or medical crisis, such as a fall or a stroke. Financial and legal, where you want to work with an elder law attorney, accountants, and financial planners. Transportation, what if you can no longer drive? Will you need the access to a PACE bus, community transportation, Ubers, taxis? Community and social access. Where are you going to fit in with technology, having interaction with the outside world if you're homebound? And what social groups and activities are available to you now, and when will you be able to get them? Consider what your interests are, hobbies are, etc. Today we're going to focus on home modifications, which I break down into 3 categories: tidy up, design and home modifications, and managed home services. Tidy up. To stay safe in your home as we age, older adults often need a tidy up service. As our mobility changes, we need to make sure that there are no obstacles in our home that can create a situation for a fall, and more importantly, that we're also not relying on unsteady furniture or piles as a source of stability to get to and from a bathroom or bedroom. Throw rugs. Throw rugs should be removed as they are the #1 cause of a fall. Design and home modifications. Redesigning of your current home along with the necessary aging in place modifications. Bathrooms are the most common, followed by bedrooms, kitchens, and laundry areas. This can include grab bars, chair lifts, etc. Home managed services. Some older adults prefer not to handle the management of their home, or they have relied on a spouse at one time to handle these services. A home management company provides a professional service to manage the home in areas of your lawn, snow removal, seasonal cleaning, heating and air conditioning, annual checkups. Keep your home running properly and maintained. All this helps to retain and enhance the real estate value. Address and repair even small concerns. Water creates all kinds of damage. A small attic leak can turn into an out of control mold situation very quickly. To successfully age in place, you need to have a plan. That plan needs to include housing and financial planning. With the tremendous advancements in medicine, the average life expectancy has increased over time. People are living longer, and therefore the aging process can become more expensive. It's best to determine what is the right budget for you and your family. The ratio was 87% of older adults prefer to stay in their homes, but now with COVID, that could change all the statistics. Many more may choose to stay home longer now. The continuum of care is growing, and most older adults want to live with dignity and self-respect and continue to feel part of the community where they have worked and lived for many years. So the question remains, should I move to a community or should I stay at home? Consider the cost of home modifications. How many hours of care may you need per day? Although home modifications can be costly, they tend to be much more affordable over time simply because the construction is then completed and you're able to remain at home for a long period of time. And in most instances, the updates you're making in the home also can add updated value to the home for future resale. The fees to move to a senior living community remain constant, monthly, and over time may even increase. And in today's world, just about anything can be done in the home. Also, you should keep in mind that the reality is there's a shortage of care providers. You need to choose a reputable, licensed agency. Hiring caregivers on your own can become very risky and can become very stressful if someone doesn't show up. When you work with a licensed agency, they will take the stress out of that equation by providing a caregiver even when the regular provider becomes ill or has a last-minute emergency. So it goes without saying that all America is painfully experiencing a world unlike any other in our lifetime. Separation from family and friends, anxiety about the safety and well-being of ourselves, parents, as well as our extended family and friends. And finally, concerns about our family's living arrangements. God forbid we have another health crisis. All the retirement money in the world is of no value if someone is separated from their family. The pandemic has resulted in rethinking of our current and most likely future priorities. Spending habits will be based on more practical and value-based decisions. There'll be less domestic and international travel, along with a general rethinking of where, when, and how we want to spend our money. We'll have enhanced awareness of our homes as our most valuable asset and a newfound respect for having an age-in-place plan with specific living arrangements for ourselves, family, and friends. And the immediate concentration on telehealth and the social connectivity capabilities of our homes, as well as rethinking potential options for maybe even multi-generational living. With that being said, we also need to understand the reality of aging with the proper perspective of being, quote unquote, forever young. Some 90-year-olds can actually ski in the Rocky Mountains. However, on the other hand, many 65-year-olds can no longer drive and have difficulty getting dressed in the morning. 1 in 4 Americans aged 65 and older fall each year, requiring hospital care. Like planning for all stages in our life, we need to plan and prepare for the age-in-place living at a much younger age, considering our needs as we age, and keeping, quote, forever young, in perspective is important to understand. As we are seeing, telehealth has quickly become available from medical doctors, clinical psychologists, physical and occupational therapists, and a growing number of medical and non-medical professionals. These advancements, along with smart technology and the on-demand delivery to your home by the Amazons of the world, has aging in place becoming a reality as our first option for long-term living. Age in place best practices start with a certified aging in place specialist. The certified designation from the National Association of Home Builders. The program provides ongoing education, teaching the technical, business management, and skills required for professionals working with seniors to safely and securely stay in their homes. I really like to use this Venn diagram to explain the logistical components of successfully aging in place, beginning first and foremost with a comprehensive certified aging in place assessment plan, then working with the following components as they relate to the person. Residence of choice, based on your lifestyle, family, and friends. Home modifications designed for long-term functional living. Manage in-home medical care and caregiving support. Feeling safe and connected to your community. The best components of aging in place is your professional team, each bringing their own unique experience. So having a certified aging in place home designer, providing those home modifications, having an elder law attorney, financial planners who can provide equity options and other care along the way, in-home health care, both medical and non-medical, and it might also include occupational and physical therapists. So as you can see, there are ages and stages where a home can be prepared for aging in place. Everyone has so many ideas of what to change in their home and lifestyle. The stages may include an updated bathroom, the way your kitchen space works, and possibly the entrance to your home. If you're in a younger age category, let's say those from 40 to 55, for example, we would be recommending universal design guidelines. Creating your home to cover the needs of many ages and abilities as possible. The goal is to make space convenient, secure, and operational for everyone living in or visiting your home. To help understand and better organize the process, my company developed 3 levels of aging in place because every home and lifestyle is so unique. The picture you're looking at here gives you a full arrangement of many changes that would be considered in a home. So we refer to this as level 3, meaning the most changes to your home. But even with a limited financial resources, we can create a version of our levels 1 through 3 for an integrated design, providing that age-in-place plan that best fits for that individual family. So let's talk about the levels. So level 1 provides some basic safety options. At least having 1 bathroom on the first floor. A minimum 32-inch clearance for doorways. Possibly widening hallways for medical beds. Having grab bars for bathrooms and shower areas. Adjustable height handheld shower head. If there's not a way to widen a hallway for a medical bed, we often convert a dining room into a bedroom, put on temporary French doors that can be removed easily to restore the dining room back to its original condition. Simple changes are very helpful as well. Lever handles versus knobs, lighted handrails, and rocker light switches. A rocker light switch can be turned on so easily, even using your elbow. People who deal with arthritis often struggle trying to work with a traditional looking light switch. This is another great feature. Having adjustable closets. It's easy to access that top of your closet. It's a very easy solution. It keeps you from getting on that step ladder just because you want to get to that favorite blouse or favorite outfit, or maybe it's a suit that you have for a special event that we typically put away. This will allow you to adjust that closet very easily with a pull down wand. Ramps, there's all kinds of different ramps, and they're not necessarily used just for people who are in a wheelchair. We often use them, as you can see the 2 pictures on your left, in doorways, simply to prevent any tripping hazards. So it's very easy to get in and out of a home, or possibly between rooms within a home. There's a number of homes that I've been in where there's a threshold piece in between rooms and it becomes a tripping hazard. So a simple ramp on each side, like you see on the top left, is a great solution for that, to prevent any future tripping. Technology has allowed us to have a smart TV where you can easily see your family at any time versus just talking on the phone. Smart technology is also available throughout your entire home. It can be controlling lights, your heating and air conditioning. It could be controlling medicine dispenser, blinds, appliances, doors, locks. Nowadays, people don't even have a key to their home. They're using electronic options. So let's talk about level 2. So now we're going a step further. Outswing doors for rescue access. If you're not familiar with what that means, typically your bathroom, you would see your door, it would open into the room. An outswing door, the reason why we switch the door is that, God forbid someone falls in the bathroom, for whatever reason, they tend to lean up against the door. And it makes it very difficult to have a rescue with the fire department and or another family member trying to get to you. So if the person in the home has significant mobility, we typically like to change the door to an outswing to prevent that from happening in the future. A zero threshold entrance. Again, that's like the previous slide, showing you that we can create a ramp system so that there's no steps involved. A tub with 15-inch transfer surface for safety. Rather than sitting on the edge of your tub, there are things that we can put along the tub that gives you 15 inches, which makes the transfer into a tub area so much safer. Comfort height toilets at 19 inches. You'd be surprised what a few inches can do for you. Most homes range from 16 to 17 inches on average, especially older homes. And if you change out your toilets to comfort height toilets at 19 inches, it makes, not only for you, but especially if you're working with a caregiver, it makes that so much easier. 30-inch clearing space to one side of the toilet. That again refers to a transfer if you're working with a caregiver. If the caregiver has to transfer someone from the front, it makes it so much more complicated. So a side transfer is easier on the caregiver to prevent them even hurting the person they're caring for. Full extension glides on all your drawers. So this is my favorite thing. Everybody has the same problem. The pan they're looking for is always at the back of their cabinets. These slide out gliding drawers are amazing. No more getting on your hands and knees trying to reach something, or falling from trying to reach something, hitting your head, whatever that might be. This will solve all those problems. So this picture shows you how you can make a kitchen if you are going to be redoing an entire kitchen. So it shows an electric cooktop that you can easily access. You see that little cart in there that can pull out. So if there's somebody using a wheelchair, they can easily access it. At one time where the sink is located, there were cabinets there. So if we're redesigning a kitchen, we do removable cabinets so that in the future, should somebody need wheelchair access, those cabinets simply pull out. Nothing changes in your flooring, nothing changes in your countertops, nothing changes in your cabinetry. It's a very easy change that you were prepared for in advance. An induction stovetop, if you're not familiar with that, they go onto an electric stove. It's a safety thing where the pots, it's magnetic, and if nothing is happening, they will actually shut off to prevent any fires, etc. This next picture shows, again, another accessible sink, but what I love about this one is that raised dishwasher. Whoever invented dishwashers, I don't know what they were thinking, but everybody's bending down to that bottom roll-out drawer, where if we just raised it up, as you can see, there's a varied height in the cabinetry. Very simple, and makes loading and unloading a dishwasher so much easier. This is another great solution, having a lift in your garage versus outdoor on your front porch, if you have the room, of course. Now, this can be used for somebody in a wheelchair. It can also be used for somebody who's using a walker or has other unstable mobility things going on, and it just makes the whole process so much safer for everybody involved. Ramps can be very, very helpful. These particular ones that you're looking at are removable. They're modular, and they can be reconfigured any way you want. And let's say you had hip surgery, and it might be helpful to have these removable ramps because you won't necessarily need it forever. They can be stored and reused at a later time. Then this is a more obviously a permanent structure if mobility is a long-term situation. So there's many options. People mostly think of this more traditional view, which is a permanent structure. Does not need to be. And I'm sure you're all familiar with the seated lift that can bring you to a second floor. And lastly, slip-resistant flooring and curbless showers with the mounted seat that folds up. So as you can see, there's no tub to get in, there's no lip by the shower, so it's very easy. If there was a wheelchair, very easy to get in there. Somebody using a walker, very easy to get in there. That seat folds down. There's little legs that come out with it, so you feel very secure. The handheld shower, which is wonderful, especially if a caregiver is assisting. It makes things much easier. Obviously, there's a grab bar there. You can also see a grab bar assist next to the toilet, and then that particular sink also would allow somebody to roll up to should they need that as well. So let's talk about level 3. Now, level 3, as I mentioned earlier, these are the more extensive changes to your home. They're all wonderful changes, but they don't always work for everybody's budget. But they're things like side-by-side, front-loading washer and dryer, having them on your first floor. Many homes have the laundry service down in their basement. Many have them on the second floor. And now if you're kind of staying on the first floor, that now becomes a problem. So we work with a lot of families to relocate this service back to the first floor so that it's much easier. You're not climbing stairs, you're not walking up with baskets of clothes up and down, etc. Smart appliances, smart TVs, medication dispensers. I don't know if everyone's familiar with how those work, but they're wonderful devices as well that basically time when you need medication. Many people are working from home now, so there's a lot of remote home office builds. Motion lighting for nighttime pathway walking. So I'm sure you're all guilty of the same thing, where we tend to not want to turn the light on in the middle of the night because we're making our way to the bathroom. What's wonderful about this motion lighting that I'm referring to is it actually goes under your bed. And as soon as your feet hit the floor, that soft lighting comes on. And all it does is guide you to a pathway to the bathroom without having to turn on a light switch or remembering to turn on the light switch, but at least you have a safe pathway to the bathroom, to and from the bed. And if you're redesigning a bathroom, this picture shows you one of the more popular items in today's world, especially with the toilet paper problem in the world with the pandemic, is a wall-mounted bidet. And more people are adding these to their bathrooms as well, along with, as you can see, that Comfort Height toilet. This is a wall-mounted toilet that you're looking at here, which actually can be really put in at any height that works for the particular family. So hopefully these levels simplify getting started with your age-in-place plan. That's why we break them into 3 categories, just to kind of give you a little bit of a overview of all the different things that can be done, from small to bigger areas within the home. Technology is a big part of staying connected, just like you are on this call today. Without technology, you wouldn't be able to even engage in something today. Earlier today, we were talking to many people who, they were in a yoga class earlier in the day, and they're able to do that from home. And really, the pandemic has really put a whole new light on things and how they're done. So many more classes and educational things will be available to people probably forever, because people have learned very quickly how they are able to stay connected with so many more people by simply using technology. So once we determine that age-in-place plan, we want to make sure that we're also considering having that managed home service. I touched on this briefly in the beginning of our presentation. So we want to keep the value of your home. Part of what you would get from a management company would be those monthly and annual inspections, your HVAC equipment, inspections in your attic to make sure there's no leaking or mold growing, roof inspections, making sure your electrical is working properly, making sure that sump pump is working properly, and or any other plumbing throughout the home. And then of course doing simple services like your landscaping, snow removal. So how do I afford to stay at home and pay for all these modifications? The best advice that is to speak with a financial planner who specializes in helping seniors. There's many of them involved in just our organization alone. They can help you use the equity in your home or even use savings that you might have, but it's best for them to understand your full financial situation to help you plan out that future. As I mentioned, one of the most important parts of aging in place is having that plan and working with all the right team members. So Rick, I'll let you take it from here.
Great, thank you, Gina. So to summarize, we really do have a wonderful community. No matter your profession, age, income, religion, ethnic background, your aging in place consultants have professional resources in your community to assist you with your aging in place questions and needs. You can rely on us to help connect you with the resources you may not have even thought of before. So I'd like to share with you a great quote from Dr. Phil. If you don't have a plan, days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and before you know it, you're looking back saying, I should have had a plan. So we really, as a group, we can't emphasize enough how important it is to have a plan. You may never need to use it, but what happens if you have a medical event? You fall, or you're in a car accident, or God forbid you get COVID. Keep a file of resources. Professionals you've met at senior fairs or events, talk to them, build a relationship so that when stuff happens, and it will, you have this file of who to contact. Planning and thinking about your future will reduce the emotional process of making an uninformed and a rapid decision for yourself or your partner in a time of stress.
I wanted to at least notify you. So we have, as we mentioned earlier, the National Aging in Place Council is based out of Washington, D.C. The national website is ageinplace.org. And when you're on that site, you can go to the Chicagoland chapter from there and see who all the members are. Barry also will have a list of all the resources too. And if you just had a general question, you could always email us at chicagoland@ageinplace.org. I did want to talk a little bit further. I don't know if anyone had any questions, but I do have some things to talk about just to give you some food for thought, if you will. So I am going to come back on here. So I'm often asked, when is the best time to prepare my age in place plan? Now is the answer. You can't start that plan soon enough. Like Rick said, you've got to know who your team members are and who you're going to go to when that crisis takes place. Because unfortunately, somewhere along the line, that crisis is going to take place. You're going to make better decisions if you're prepared, and you're going to make better decisions with the right people to help you if you know who they are. Many people ask me, how much will it cost to modify my home? Well, every home, as you can imagine, is quite unique. Every family is different. Every family dynamic is different. And your health and your mobility are also very different. So it's really kind of a difficult question to answer. I guess the answer would be, it could range from $200 to $10,000. It really depends on what's happening with the current state of your home, as well as your health and your mobility. And so I don't have a really good answer for you other than everybody's different. So it's really kind of impossible to give you a definitive number. I wanted to also share a couple stories. So, when aging in place takes place or crisis takes place, you'd be amazed at the calls we get. To give you an example, got a call last week, 6 p.m. at night from a friend of a friend of a friend. Dad fell out of bed the night before. Mom is a nurse, and she could not find a bed rail system for him. They called me, and by the next day at 2 p.m., we were installing a new system for Dad to keep him safe. Because people who are in what we call the senior vertical, we have access to equipment and things you might need that you and the general public can't necessarily get to. So again, if you keep those resources at hand, you call Barry and say, who am I supposed to call? And she's going to say, remember that list I gave you? That's why you want to print those things out, have them in a folder, know who to call when it comes time for that crisis, preferably before the crisis. We've worked with many families in another crisis mode where mom's coming home from rehab and they've got a caregiver moving in. Next thing you know, we're trying to have instant furniture, converting what used to be a family room into a bedroom for a caregiver, reconverting a bathroom to keep mom safe with the caregiver. So again, had we planned in advance, we all wouldn't be going through crisis mode. And the good news is we were able to get everything done, and that's wonderful. We've worked with families that have had serious problems. I just finished up a project with a family that we had to put in respite for 2.5 weeks because there was so much damage, even in the floorboards, and they were in a ranch. And there were so many different things that we had to do: replace flooring, replace the floorboards, redo bathrooms because they were unsafe, and they were even more unsafe than we thought, as I mentioned, replacing floorboards. So there's a whole slew of different things that can be done in your home, from big to small. So one of the other things, I don't know if you statistically know this, but over $3 billion is lost in scams to older adults every year. Very, very sad statistic. So NAIPC, as I mentioned, is a national organization that currently has 15 chapters in most large metropolitan areas. So the organization was built to protect older adults and keep them safe. In the Chicagoland chapter, we go through a background check, and this way you're more comfortable with people that are working in your best interest and are certainly not looking to take advantage of anyone. I wanted to give you a list of the different disciplines of all the different people that are within our chapter. So as I mentioned, home modifications and design, non-medical in-home care. We have a Medicare specialist. We have financial advisors. We have elder law attorneys. We have an audiologist who provides mobile services. How good can it get? We have a rep from Caption Call. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Caption Call is. That's the phone for people who are hard of hearing. We have mental health professionals. We have certified senior advisors like Rick, who you've already met. Long-term care insurance specialists. We have senior transition relocation services. We have an architect. We have a senior real estate specialist. That's a designation through realtors for someone who needed to sell their home. They're specifically educated to work with seniors. We have care managers, and we also have reverse mortgage consultants. So we have a full range of people who are working specifically with the senior market to help protect you and your loved ones. Sometimes we work directly with the older adults. Sometimes we work in conjunction also with the older children, whatever it might be, but we're here to help. And we just wanted to introduce who the National Aging in Place Council was so that you have a resource. And again, thank you, Barry, for inviting us. We really appreciate your time. Thank you to everyone who was able to join us. We hope you have a wonderful evening. If there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer any additional questions, or Barry, if you have any.
Right, I'll just remind everyone, if you want to go ahead and open up your Q&A, if it isn't open already, again, that icon is usually along the bottom of your Zoom screen, and you can just toggle on that to open up your Q&A and type your question in there. Gina, I'm wondering, is there a particular age limit for most of your services? I'm just thinking perhaps if there was an accident or something happened and someone had a disability, but they weren't technically a senior, would they still be able to access certain services or be able to get some information or things that they needed through your
Of course. We work with many people that also have physical and or mental disabilities. For us, we really kind of put them out in the same category, even though we always refer to them as seniors and or older adults, but we work with many people that also have mental or physical disabilities as well. That's what we're here to do, is protect everyone.
Great, thank you. Okay. Well, I don't see any additional questions. So I think you covered everything in your FAQs there at the end. Thank you so much. Again, this program has been recorded, and so we will be putting it on our YouTube page within a week. Our IT department just needs to clean up the beginning and the end, and they will upload it there so that you will be able to watch it again or recommend it to someone. And so all of the materials that Gina mentioned, we do have a list of those providers, and we will be sending that out to all of the registrants So if you registered for this program, you will be receiving that list. If you are watching this webinar later as a recording, you can go ahead and email us at the library, and we would be happy to provide that to you. The easiest email to receive that would be CE, as in community engagement, ce@wheatonlibrary.org, and we'd be happy to send that list out to you. All right, well, thank you so much to Gina and Rick for your time and effort putting all this together for us and answering the questions. We appreciate that. Thank you for everyone for joining us tonight. Stay safe, and we hope to see you again soon. Good night.